Now, I'm going back to my blinking cursor in my area. I've prepared some text in another program, alright, and I'm actually going to just cut and paste this in. Bear with me. We're going to pretend this is a post about David Beckham. He's a big soccer star. And we're going to use a headline. We're going to use a subheadline. There's the subheadline. I'm just pasting this stuff in quickly. Here's some introductory text. There we go. I'm hitting carriage return. Here's a quote, because we're going to pretend we're pulling a quote right from this magazine article that David Beckham is in. And finally, we have some additional paragraph text. This is a very standard format for a post on your website. Now let's format it. I said to you before this is a subheadline. Well, it doesn't look like one yet. Right now it's paragraph text. Let's click this drop down box and change this to a heading 3. Heading 1 is the biggest. Heading 2 and 3 continually get smaller. I tend to like either a heading 2 or a heading 3. Choose which one works on the formatting for your website, and we'll get back to that. For now, heading 3 is usually a pretty good one. I'm going to take and highlight this quotation here, and I'm going to hit the quote button right up here. And you can see by doing that, we've now distinguished this text to indicate to the reader that it's a quote. Not only because it's in quotes, but also because it's indented. Final thing I'm going to do here, which really has to do with focusing the reader's attention, is I'm going to make some text bold. It just so happens, though, that the text that I'm making bold are also keywords that describe my business. So soccer coaching and soccer psychology are what this post is about, but they're also keywords that describe my business. Now, this looks really good. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a photo. I'm going to position my cursor in the very top left of the post. I'm going to go up to this image right here. It says add an image. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to cover how to add photos and format them in depth in another session, so I'm going to go very quickly. I'm not even going to explain all the things I'm about to do because it will take too long, and I'm going to cover it later. Alright, I'm picking a photo basically from my computer and I'm uploading it to my WordPress installation. Finally, I'm going to give it a caption. Okay, I'm going to select all that text and copy it, and I'm also going to put it in the description. You'll see why in just a second. If I go further down on the page, I'm going to choose a left alignment, a medium size, and finally I'm going to click Insert into Post. Now, I just did all the things I needed to do to get this to show up where I wanted it. Remember how I was typing in David Beckham Talks Game Day Preparation? Now you can see why I put that in there. What you can't see is that the search engines also see this information in some of the back-end system in our actual code. And that's good because you know what? David Beckham is a big keyword. People look for him on the internet all the time, and it's another way of getting the search engine's attention. So, I've talked a little bit about that back-end code. I'll do a full review of that in just a minute. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit Save Draft. And then I'm going to hit Preview. And here's the Preview button. And guess what? We're finally going to get our first look at what this all looks like. There's our post headline, David Beckham's Soccer Psychology. Here's the photo that we have. There's the caption for the photo. We have Understanding the Mental Game Day Preparation for one of soccer's biggest stars. Introductory text, quotation text, and paragraph text with formatting. So it all looks pretty good. I've noticed one little thing that's off. This should be in this heading 3, larger text, and I think what happened is by adding the photo in, it's actually messed that up. So I'm going to go ahead and re-highlight my text here, select heading 3. This kind of quirkiness does happen, and I'm going to save it. And once I'm done with that, alright, it just reloaded. I'm going to go back to that screen with my preview, and I'm going to hit my refresh button on my browser. And there we go. That's the way it should have looked. Notice that the blog or post headline is bigger than this text, which is my subheadline. Now, we're going to wrap up by talking SEO. We all know that this looks good now from a human perspective. Your customers reading this would really be looking at a nicely formatted post. It has all the right kind of elements. Let's talk about the back end of what Google sees. Now, I've been on the visual editor in WordPress, but you'll notice right next to this tab that there's one called HTML. Now, I promise you never have to go into this. I'm only showing you this as an example of something. I'm going to highlight some text. This is actually our subheadline. You might recognize it. Understanding the Mental Game Day Preparation for one of soccer's biggest stars. Notice that it says H3. Remember back on the front of the website on the visual editor that we used this heading 3? To make the text look big and bold. Well, when you see a heading 3 tag in HTML, or more specifically, when Google sees an H3 tag, you're telling Google that this is more important. Every word in here is more important than the text right below it that's just regular paragraph text. This is also true of things that you do things like bold print with. So, you might remember in the beginning, we were talking back on the visual editor about making soccer coaching and soccer psychology bold. That helps our readers focus their attention on the most important words. It also focuses our search engine on the most important keywords. So, you don't need to remember this, but there's something called the strong tag. That's how we actually tag the word soccer coaching to make it show up in bold in our web browser. Google sees this as, oh, something's been put in a strong tag. This text is more important than the text next to it, all right, which is this paragraph text. So, what we've done is we've talked about the post headline. Now, I didn't show you the tag for that, but that's the most important thing you can put from a search engine perspective in terms of content. So make sure your post is short. You don't want to have a post headline that's 50 words long. Use 4 to maybe 8 words, and try to include your keywords, things that people will search on. Next, if you're going to use a subheadline, also include keywords, maybe ones that you couldn't get to in your headline. And finally, highlight certain keywords that both tell your reader as well as search engines what the most important words are on your page. That's how your post is going to rank really well, and it's also how you put up a post. So, I think we just have to hit publish, and we can conclude the lesson. So I've hit publish. The screen is going to refresh in just a minute here, and it now says post published. If I go back and click on the posts in the left-hand navigation, you'll now see our new article, David Beckham's Soccer Psychology. If I go to my front of my website, and let's say click on the home page, this particular website has the Coach's Corner blog, and there's my post. I can click on it there, and that will actually take us to our live post that's now fresh and new on our website. We've done our job. We've kept our website up to date. Whether it's coupons, news about sports, about specials or products that you have, specials for your restaurant that you want to tell people about. There's so many things you can update your clients with. It could be a testimonial. Anything that comes up is an opportunity in your business to get that information on your website. It's the stuff you already talk to your clients about now when they're on the phone or if they come into your store. So why not put it on your website in a blog post and start getting free leads from great search engine optimization and a really thriving, vibrant, up-to-date website. That's it for today. This is Julian, Seery, Gude with Local Knowledge. We'll be coming back with more WordPress lessons that are tied into small business internet marketing, so stay tuned. We look forward to seeing you again soon.